Can read.
Yeah.
This you can read. And this is Korean
Yeah.
love poems.
Korean love poem.
Korean love poems. Now, we would like very much, as you remember I told you, culture is very important.
Yes.
And we would like to use culture as a bridge
Yeah.
between Korea and Israel. And that is why we decided to translate
Yeah.
Korean love poems from Korean to Hebrew, to our language. So now Israeli people
Oh.
that do not know Korean, but they know Hebrew, they can read it. And we got from the your museum, we got also traditional Korean pictures. So here you have, you can read. So here you have the translation. This is in Hebrew,
Yeah.
the poem. This is the Korean name, and here you have a traditional Korean painting. So they can read, and also they can enjoy Korean paintings. So this is the first book that we translated, and now we have just finished another book. This is poems, and the new one is stories, short stories, Korean short stories that we published in a book.
Fairy tales?
Pardon?
Fairy tales?
Yeah, short stories, yes, short stories.
Yeah. 그림들. Yeah. 대사님 지난번에 뵀을 때도 굉장히 정말 인상이 좋으셨고, 특히 정말 그 관심이 가는 분야는 그 한국에 그 70년대도 오셨고, 또 이번에 오실 때도 자원에서 오셨다고 들었어요. 그래서 어떤 계기로 자원에서 오셨는지 그것부터 먼저 듣고 싶습니다.
Well, it's very simple. We fell in love with Korea. We came here first time in 1970, and we spent here 4 years, from 1970 to 1974, and we enjoyed it very much. And when we left Korea, it was August 1974, and I said to my wife, we enjoyed it so much, maybe one day we shall be back. And after 27 years, there was an opportunity, and I could come to Korea. And when they offered me to become an ambassador in Korea, I said, of course, I'm ready. And as I told you, my wife also enjoyed it very much, so she immediately agreed. And here we are. We have also a special connection to Korea, because our second son was born here. We have 3 sons, and the second one was born here in 1971. So we say that we have a Korean in our family. He was born in January 71. So if we are now in 2005, he's 34 years old.
34 years old?
Yes. Also already father to 2 girls. This is my wife in Hamburg, 1972. 33 years ago.
Yeah.
I tell you, she wanted very much to be here, but in next month, not next month, yes, next month, we are going to have a very important event, which is called Parade of Nations.
사진에서 나오셨어요.
Yeah.
This is me when I was young. Beautiful skin. So white and clean. Beautiful. Yeah.
맨 처음에 오시기 전에 한국이라는 나라에 대해서 이렇게 딱 들었을 때 그때 아무것도 사실은 그 와보기 전에 어떤 인상은 어땠는지가 궁금해요.
No impression, because before we came to Korea, actually, we went abroad only to one place, to Sri Lanka, Ceylon. So actually, Korea was the second country abroad that we ever visited. So actually, there were no impressions at all. We knew about Korea, but that there is a state, the Republic of Korea, and of course we knew about North Korea and South Korea, but no other impressions. This was the first time when we arrived here that actually we met Korean people and Korean culture, etc.
그 한국의 이미지라고 이렇게 했었을 때 한국의 이미지를 이렇게 한마디로 딱 표현한다면 어떻게 설명하실 수 있을까요?
Very difficult.
Yes.
I tell you why, because first of all, I am not objective. I'm not objective. I told you that first time while we were here, we enjoyed our stay here very much. I described it as we fell in love in Korea, with Korea, and you know that it is very difficult to explain love. You see, this is Israel flag, and then you see Korean flag, and together.
Together.
So if somebody asks me what I'm doing here, I bring Israel, Korea together.
이거 어떻게 해서 만들어진 거죠, 이게? How
This is Israeli innovation. This is Israeli technology. And you can put, I think, maybe 5 or 6 or 7 photos, and you can put it's for advertisement. So I asked a small one for me, special, but you can have big size, and you can put it in the shop or everywhere.
Wow.
And it is automatically changed.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
와, 굉장히 어리석은 질문인데 그 이스라엘에 어떤 사람이 갔는데 하루밖에 못 있다. 그러면 뭐를 해보면 좋을까?
I would suggest him to go to Jerusalem. And the reason is that, first of all, Jerusalem is not only the capital of Israel, but Jerusalem is the very holy for the three greatest monotheistic religions, for Christians, for Jews, and for Muslims. And in this regard, this is a unique city that you cannot find anywhere in the world. And actually, this is the uniqueness of the Holy Land, the land of Israel. And that's why I would recommend he or her to go to Jerusalem. But there is another reason. Jerusalem